Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We are live and we start in 3, 2, 1, go. So great. Good evening, friends, participants, colleagues. Adab, Sasyakal, Bonsoir, and Namaste to everybody. I am thoroughly happy to welcome you all back again. I hope everybody is safe and fine. And we pray to Almighty that all your loved ones are safe and continue following the protocols. I am Ashish Banka, National President of HR Sampark and your host of the evening. Thank you everybody for appreciating this series, and we are so glad to bring the ninth episode of MAD, making a difference to all of you. I thank all my previous guests to share their experience, journey, and to all the participants for appreciating it. A disclaimer: all the discussion done today is based on individual ideas, thoughts, relevance, and is not specifically related to any company, industry, or individual. HR Sampark, a brief those for all of you who are joining new today. We are a part of, we started as a WhatsApp group in 2017 in Calcutta. We have three chapters: Mumbai, Delhi, and Calcutta, over 400 members. We focus on social media activity and a lot of knowledge interface. We're also glad that we have started a job group in Telegram, and link is available in social media for all streams to facilitate in this tough times. Last eight episodes have been extremely informative and created ripples within the student and professional community, and we have identified eight leaders, emerging HR leaders. And today we are, privileged again to welcome somebody, a close friend, somebody very renowned, very peppy, and somebody who speaks through his mind. HR leader, learner, Mr. Anand Dhruv, to lead this episode of unveiling the journey of emerging HR leader. Anand is a renowned HR professional with over 21 years of progressive experience in HR, manpower planning, onboarding, all gamut of HR functions. Talent management at his forte. He leads the talent management currently for entity data centers and cloud infrastructure. Earlier, he was associated with esteemed companies like NetMagic, Lush Media, Reliance Communications, alumnus of SIMS, and have been recipient of many accolades. He was also awarded with top 101 HR Minds by HRD Congress. I know him through a common HR forum for over 3 years, and his down to earth, nature is his biggest strength to impact people and the thought process. It will be quite interesting to witness this episode to get Anand into action. And back to our spotlight person of the
Thank
day
you.
through the nominations. Out young, enthusiastic, energetic, passionate, and meticulous HR leader of this industry, Dr. Varun Goel. I take the privilege from Varun to call him, Dr. Varun, to call him Varun for personalized reference. Presently employed with the reputed Maharatna PSU Bhel for last 9.9 years at corporate office in Delhi, a very collaborative and shares what he knows. He looks forward to practice best HR interventions in the organizations to support business and growth. He was earlier also with Bail at Haridwar as HRBP. In current stint, he supports several functions, mainly as HR business partner, policy administrator, employee relations, PMS, industrial relations, and many other things. He completed his BTEC from KEIT and MBA from prestigious IIT Roorkee, plus a part-time PhD degree from prestigious IIT Roorkee, and had an earlier work experience of 2 years in his reputed software firm. This is exception, somebody who has done so much of education, and he had been recipient of many accolades to in terms of an industry, nominated for best valuable player, nominated for best promising fresher, technology driven person, a lot of tech quizzes he has won. He successfully got the certificate for fourth national science olympiad. Interacting with Varun over a week, and hearing about Varun, I have no doubt that he will be the next HR icon in near future. And this reverse mentoring by Anand will lead the way for many HR professionals like us to take this effort and put into the future in front before the present. Let us sit back, relax, unlearn, learn, relearn from this interesting journey and exceptional, episode. And I thank Dr. Varun and Anand for coming over and sparing a busy family Sunday to us. But I think over this time, this will take a long way. And thank you so much. Sampark is so happy to be partnership with you. Over to you, Anand, and wish you all the
Thank you.
best, Varun.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you very much for the sweet introduction. And thank you very much, Ashish. We call you AB, so I'll continue saying you AB during our conversation for considering us worth for this conversation because in this tough time, many HR forums are doing great job and HR Sampark is one of them. So thanks a ton. And thank you, Dr. Varun Goel. And of course, I'll call you Varun to have our conversations personalized. So thank you,
Yes.
Varun, for accepting this request and giving us an opportunity to represent the interaction between while it has been named as HR learner and emerging HR, I always believe in one thing, and I'm sure everybody would agree learning is a constant journey. We learn till the last breath. We learn daily, we learn every minute. And that's what I strongly believe in. So, learning is a constant process, and I'm sure with this small conversation which we are going to do today, there will be multiple learning platforms, there will be multiple learning opportunities for all of us on this call. At the same time, once these recordings are shared by HR Sampark, this gets as a good reference material to all of them. So, thank you once again, AB, and thank you, Varun. So, let's start. So, Varun, let me first tell you, and I'm very honest and upfront when I'm saying this. At such a young age, I see you have completed your PhD. I have been desperately trying or thinking to have Dr. Anand Dhruv as something which I really, really want to achieve into. But I see you, a young chap, who has already completed his PhD, masters, and into so many things. So could you just elaborate about this journey of your PhD, Varun, and how did it start, and what inspired you to do something like this at such a young age?
Thank you. Before I start, I would like to thank AB. And I still remember how I was attending a session in HR Sampark, and I was attending, it was Miss Radhika's session, Edelweiss CEO. And this another series we have run by AB with CEO. So I was attending that, and I continuously attend, and I must thank AB for starting this initiative because it has led us for people like us who are like in a PSU not aware about the surroundings much. It has been a constant source of learning for me, and I learn a lot from this, and I took inspiration from this initiative a lot. So
Great.
talking about my PhD, while I was in BHL, I joined BHL in 2011. So
Okay.
after completing my MBA, we one of my teacher, who was the then HOD, Dr. Santosh Rangnekar sir, he used to come in Haridwar and he
Okay.
used to take some sessions, and he inspired me that you can do it, and while you are here you can utilize best possible time. And as you know, Roorkee is very near to Haridwar, and
Right.
I also gave it a thought, but at that time I didn't knew that PhD is so tough. So he said, "नहीं बेटा हो जाएगा. 2 to 3 years, you will pull it off. There will be no issues." So I also had one colleague who has also completed PhD. He is into Flipkart, Dr. Shashikant, and at that time
Okay.
he was with me. So he is our college senior at Roki MBA batch senior, and we used to discuss a lot of things. And he started Varun Karte Hain, and then we started. We both started in January 14 and completed PhD in December 18. But I tell you, it was not an easy ride.
Wow. Absolutely. There's no
So
second thought on
it
that.
took 5 years and two research papers, few international conferences. Initial 6 months are classwork. You have to complete it dedicatedly, and trust me, it is not cakewalk. So if anybody is going
Absolutely.
to think about it, he should be clear about the objective. Because at that time we thought कि हाँ हमारा CV थोड़ा upgrade हो जाएगा. There will be a doctor against our name, but we did not knew that PhD is
Right.
a such course where you define the syllabus, you study it, and then you clear it. So all the three things
Right.
are done by ourselves, and especially like one has to read two research papers every day. and have to maintain the records of learning in an Excel sheet, the key learnings that we have learned from those research papers.
Wow. So congratulations, Dr. Varun Goel. I'm sure, we all would agree to it. It's not an easy task. But what is most important is what I learned from this one conversation which we have started. It is very important to have that start. That start
Right.
is the most important aspect, because we all are so good at forecasting things. आज का कल, कल का परसों, whereas कल का आज, आज का अब. So Varun, I'm sure that start is very important. Once you put on that energy, things automatically fall in. I'm sure in your case, it took 5 years, but I'm sure that journey beautiful, and we see lights.
Then there is a slight lag in your video.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
so personally, why I asked this, I am somebody who would want to do my PhD. AB is somebody, I'm sure he would also vouch that he is planning to do this. And there are so many of our colleagues, friends in the pipeline who are hearing this conversation would get inspired by this. And that start is very important. So thank you very much. Many of us will now get to.
Like I would
Anand, your
like
video
to
is
add
getting
also.
Anand, your video is getting freeze, and there's a lot of lag. Varun, if you can just put more light, if you can switch on the
Steady.
light.
Yeah.
Yeah, much better, much better.
Thank you.
While we get Anand back, Varun, your first answer to this question, I just felt so touched with the roots. कि दो लाइन बोलना
Am I
चाहूंगा
audible
आपके
now?
लिए कि yeah, you are, but the video is freezed, Anand. While Anand comes back, because of this, दो लाइन बोलना चाहूंगा कि जिंदगी जीना सीखिए दिखावे के बगैर, मुस्कुराना सीखिए सेल्फी के बगैर. So this is for you, Varun. I think your answer was so. Why lie? And you're back. I think better. So it was so rustic, so raw, and so it was so real. Your answer ऐसा लगा कि कि करने के बाद generally बहुत लोग they want to show big, honestly, one, and you have kept it so simple, down to earth. I think this is a very big takeaway to all our audience. In spite if you reach at a certain point, that is very important that you transpire it very simply to everybody. And जैसे बोलते हैं कि भरा हुआ पेड़ फल से वो हमेशा झुका हुआ रहता है. Kudos to you, Varun. While Anand gets his network back, Varun, would you like to, Anand, are you there?
Okay. Am I better now?
Yes.
Better,
Lot
but we
better.
still are facing a lag. So over to you, Anand.
Okay, sorry. So I'm sorry for that lag issue. So Varun, coming back to the discussion. So thank you very much for inspiring us. And I'm sure most of our friends, colleagues listening to us will now plan to get back to their schedule and block the calendar and freeze a date so that we can also continue our learning journey and plan our PhDs. So moving ahead, Varun, I was going through your LinkedIn profile, Varun, and one thing which really I got attracted to was your cover photo. Your cover photo talks about life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And I'm sure you have given us that particular story, that small crux which you explained resembles what you said. Could you please elaborate on that particular philosophy, what you strongly believe in, and what does that mean to you?
Actually, I truly feel that I've not been into uh, outside of a comfort zone till date, and actually, my life has been very comfortable. So when I see people around me, they have to face a lot of challenges, like starting from my engineering days to MBA days, and then I've met a lot of people, and still, when I see the challenges and struggles that they do, I would say that I aspire to get out of my comfort zone. That is why I put those lines in LinkedIn. But to tell you,
Right.
the real tough thing was PhD. Like, I don't want to repeat it again, but there came a point when things were not moving forward, and there was this everything this stuck up and going on in a cycle, and we were not moving ahead. And then I took help of my family with and
Mm-hmm.
my friends, and then pulled me out of that circle, and then started and trust me, when I started writing my thesis, I completed it in 2 months,
Wow.
along with my job. So literally the last day, I still remember the 31st of December 2018, and I did not sleep the whole night. 30th December, I was still making here and there changes, and 2 days like continuously, but I enjoyed. And as you said, to start is a very very important thing. When
Absolutely.
I drafted first version, when the version 1 came out, and the final version was version 8. So
Oh,
within those 2 months, from version 1 to version 8, how the time is spent, it was like just flew. It flew.
absolutely. I'm sure this would have been a challenge. And as rightly mentioned by you, you need to get out of your comfort zone to be able to reach where you want to reach.
Like,
Because
on the same note, I would like to also tell the audience that it is very important to have the personal inventory of your good events. So the good events and the bad events tell you a lot about how to bounce back in your life. And
absolutely.
as it is told that a person is the sum total of five important people around him or her. So it is very important to keep those people around you, so that you can always bounce back. And like, I come from a spiritual family, so it is always told, beta, kuch puja paठ करो, satsang किया करो. So I treat this as a satsang, to have always company
Absolutely.
of good people, which helps me to have a positive attitude and to take positives from my environment.
Absolutely, Varun. This reminds me of something which I personally agree, and I'm sure AB would agree to this. मैं मानता हूं कि हार जीत नहीं होती है. या आप जीतते हो या आप सीखते हो. आप कभी हारते नहीं हो. Either you win or you learn. You never lose anything.
Right.
And that's what life is all about. And that's what I see in your journey, the way you are explaining your challenges, your aspirations, the way you have taken things at such a young age is something which is a great learning for all of us, especially people like me in their mid careers who would want to pursue further the next goals of our life. So thank you very much, Varun, for sharing those insights.
And I would also like to thank my PhD guide,
Absolutely.
Dr. Rajat Agrawal and Dr. Vinay Sharma, who was my co-guide. अगर वो ना होते, I would have stuck somewhere. Maybe I would have committed suicide. But they pulled me out, and uh, actually I went to them a lot of times, and they kind of helped me a lot, invested a lot of time in me.
Great. So if they are hearing this conversation, on behalf of HR Sampark and all of us, thank you very much for giving us such a polished person.
दो लाइनें बोलना चाहूंगा वरुण आपके लिए. आपने एक अनपार्लियामेंट्री शब्द का प्रयोग किया. तो ऑडियंस, this word, please do not take it, because sometimes we use this as part of out of our emotional burst. But what Dr. Varun is today is, जो जितना झुलसता है वो उतना ही निखर जाता है. जो सहले तकलीफ मेहनत की वो हर रोज चमकता है. So audience,
बिल्कुल.
this is how it's important that the one takeaway which I take, Dr. Varun, out of question of Anand, is that you will face failures in life. It is imperative.
Absolutely.
But how
Absolutely.
you take it forward, this is an individual thing. And I totally resonate, Dr. Varun, at the start of my career, when I just left Indian Railways and wanted to come into professional. 4 months in Calcutta, I appeared for 48 interviews because I was only hell bent to join HR and I was ready to join after a PSU as a supervisor to join as assistant also in HR. So 4 months I appeared interview for all the places where even where the offices were built, the wood was scraped off. And I went one day and they told the interviews have started. बोले office बना नहीं तो interview कहाँ से चालू होगा? So I'm saying it is important, how
Yes.
we as people, hold ourselves and take this journey forward. Friends, we all of us need to understand we are not lucky enough, and Varun, if you say, life has not been very challenging, to do something, a lot of people who get comfort do not take extra effort, and the effort which you have taken, kudos to you, Dr. Varun. Over to you,
Absolutely.
Anand.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, AB. Thank you, Varun. Varun, after hearing this conversation, which AB also mentioned a while ago, so AB is a best example of somebody from PSU has moved on to a corporate HR, and I have you who was working with the IT giant and then moved to a PSU. So Varun, particularly with you, I wanted to understand the challenges, or I would not say challenges, but the learnings, particularly of these two setups which currently we are associated with. There are a lot of myths, there are a lot of misconceptions about these stuff, whereas a workplace is a workplace. I always say that people working with you makes the workplace better, not the processes. So how is it different? Could you just put some light? Could you just elaborate something on that front so that people hearing this conversation will be able to understand that a workplace is a workplace. It's the people around us who makes that difference. So how is different between working in a PSU and working in an IT front?
So as you told Anand that there are a lot of myths working in a PSU.
Yes.
People think that a person has got the sarkari job and now अब बस सिर्फ आराम और पैसा, दो पंच, एक lunch and
Bilkul.
all those things. So but to tell you really there is no much difference. In fact, I would say that I would like to divide the current industry framework in three major portions. So one is the government sector, as we know. In the private sector, there is some legacy organizations which are like very old and continuing their legacy, and other private organizations are like new age organizations. So
Mhm.
as a PSU, we have a history of 60 years, from 1960s to 80s to 2000 and 2020 now. And it is journey where we have to constantly do a redesigning, and we have to come across as being contemporary, and we have to always redesign our systems. So we have put a lot of systems in place, and like people, as you told, people are biggest asset, and they help in making a workplace a nice place, and they help in redesigning those systems and making those policies contemporary. So it is very important that uh, from a culture perspective, I would like to say, respected sir in PSU, legacy private organization, dear sir, and new age organization, dear XYZ.
Absolutely.
So another thing you can say is like legacy organizations, you will find formal formal wear. They either celebrate Friday in a casual wear, or like mm, some HR
Yes.
activity that the HR does.
Office casuals.
So
Right.
so, but in a new age organization, you can come in chaddi banyan also.
Yes. So today things are changing, Varun, and maybe that's the reason people today look forward for the value which you bring on the table. That's most important. And as I have spent some time in media industry also, I can completely relate to what you're saying, because there the way we carry ourselves is completely different than what we see when we carry ourselves to a PSU. But now, as you mentioned, with emerging organizations, things are changing. It's the value which you bring on board on table matters the most. But yes, there are certain restrictions based on the protocol of the organization, based on the culture of your organization. We all respect that, and that's something which I leave it to people's personal choice, what they wish to wear or what they wish to carry themselves during the organization at their workplace. But broadly, as I said, today people value about what value you bring on board, what value you bring during your work in the office timings. Great. Thank you for giving those insights, Varun. Varun, I also wanted to point out this one particular point. Since I belong, as AB mentioned, the way we have HR Sampark, I belong to a HR forum of ITS Association, and I strongly feel the power of IT today is everywhere, irrespective of the type of industry we are associated with. 15 years ago, 10 years ago, while automation was definitely there, systems were in place, but still how to use vast data, the importance of it, artificial intelligence, all these stuffs were very new for all of us. And again, there's one myth which people carry, that the way PSU, the way government organization works, there is very less automation, which again I would say that's a myth. But I wanted you to bring in those highlights, that how different or what value it brings in as HR function works. So the importance of IT in our sectors, particularly with your kind of work, could you elaborate something on that front?
So, first of all, like I would say, being from a IT background, I would say that
Mhm.
some knowledge of IT is a must for every HR professional. So the common thing which I feel is like an HR guy who is a non-technical is not able to
Right.
understand the language of an IT person, and the IT person is not. He wants everything in binary, 0 or 1. You don't tell me gray policies. You don't tell me procedures. You tell me how I will code. So you tell me a condition, in what conditions this will implement, in what conditions it will not. So major thing is, if a person, HR professional, if he understands the perspective of the other IT guy, basic things, then he can actually act as a bridge between HR and IT. The other
Right.
important thing is, like as you told, at our organization, we are also trying to implement a lot of initiatives, and I would say that we are trying to implement it from end to end. So I've attended many interviews also, and many workshops which are given by IT professionals or HR solution providers, HRIS providers. So I feel that we are at par currently with the market, and doing a pretty good job. And we have also implemented SAP in our organization, which is used for HR manpower database, and like many workflows in these recent times. Implementing that ERP has really helped us. So in the government sector, e-office developed from NIC portal, it is a really good thing. So just before the lockdown came, it got implemented in February 2020, and it really helped a lot. Work from home policy we implemented, and we have been able to
Wow.
really pull it off. During the lockdown time, we conducted more than 30,000 hours of training sessions with the help of our systems.
Excellent, excellent. So, friends, this is something which I wanted to highlight during this conversation, that things are changing. The way even the government sector PSUs are currently working is definitely, absolutely at par to other industries. The way social media handles, the way other live media, IT options, automations, everything being used by the government sector is tremendous. So, I'm sure those myths, whatever we used to think about these organizations, needs to be changed. And today I see that difference, that all organizations are using IT platforms so wisely. I'll give you the best example of the current passport management system. The way things have changed is something which has been, everybody is very very satisfied and happy with the kind of work these PSUs and government sector is doing. So my humble request to everybody is, please treat all work, all organizations, all sector at par. And I can see that difference today while I talk to you, and when I see all my colleagues, all my friends, all my HR fraternity in such kind of industries. So thank you, Varun, for bringing those insights. Varun, I understand broadly you have worked on all the HR streams, all the HR functions. One personal question which I wanted to ask to you: what is that particular function of HR which is very close to your heart? Like we have so many functions under HR, something which you are really fond of and that is very, very close to your heart.
As I'm a people person, I like to meet and listen to people a lot. I would
Mhm.
say employee relations, ER function or IR function, I would say. And
Okay.
being a HR professional, you can't answer that question truly, because everything is, whatever you are doing, if you are putting your heart and soul, every function is near and dear to you, and you try to do your best in whatever you do. And
Mhm.
also, it is very important to understand that you can't be a you can't provide end-to-end solution. Ultimately, the goal of HR is to support business. So ultimately, uh, it is to enable that business how it can come out with flying colors. So if you are not able to understand any particular thing, then you can't actually contribute to the organization. So mm,
Right.
that is very important. But yes,
Great.
I can also say, and I feel this, that there are many streams which carry a good amount of money. So can say that in future, the future of work will involve gig workers and like part-time workers and all. So we can understand that contract labor management, employee relations, all these things will fetch you a lot of money.
Absolutely. Gig has already started coming in. I have so many of my friends who are currently on board with multiple organizations and they would want to work at their pace and they would want to have those project based assignments or task oriented, stuff which they would want to do in their workplace. Great. Thank you, Varun, for answering that. Varun,
Anand, I'm sorry to barge. There is an audience question, so this is for
okay.
you. And
Okay.
thank you, Varun, for answering this. Because I'll keep posting audience questions as well. Because end of the day we might do. So this is audience unnamed. Well, they have put a question. We all three of us are here because we are passionate about the people function. It is
Right.
not, so we are here because it has been out of choice, not by compulsion or design. So, Anand, over
Right.
recent years, when we go through a lot of colleges, when you visit, people opting for HR as a specialization has seen a sudden decline amongst the student. One is in
Okay.
terms of due to the lack of opportunities. One is because more people cannot go into it. Second, also which Varun mentioned, most of the people they get a recruiter job. Hardcore HR. Into ER. When we started, we got a perspective to do entire. Now everybody gets a recruiter kind of role. Which Varun you mentioned that every job is important, but
At par.
Anand, but at par. But Anand, your take on this? The question
Sure.
is very important, serious, and lot of aspiring HR leaders will looking forward.
Absolutely. So let me take it in this way. I am a part of couple of institutes, and I am very passionate when it comes to interacting with young students. So to answer this question, irrespective what function you are getting into, your entry in an organization is very, very important, and that's what I always tell all my students when I interact with them, all my young HR professionals who come to us, whom we want them to grow. I tell them, work on your foundation. Your foundation is very, very important, and your foundation decides the journey, the length of your career in one particular organization, or how long you can go in the stream which you have selected. So irrespective, AB, recruitment, training, any kind of work which you are getting into, till the time you are very much interested to be a part of HR, please enter into the HR fraternity, start working towards it, try to get the best, try to learn. While you may be associated with one particular function, I am saying this purely by my example. AB knows about my journey. I was a thorough L&D guy. I started my career as a trainer, but my transition from trainer to corporate HR happened accidentally, but it was so smooth because me as a person was open to learn beyond L&D as a function. And I am proudly saying this on this forum that yes, I have also been a HR head with the largest out of home media company in India whereas I have spent most of my time in L&D. But that doesn't stop you to learn other aspects of HR function. And that's what I did. While I have my specializations, I have my degrees, which talks about L&D, HR, but predominantly I am a L&D guy. If this question, which I asked you, what's your favorite HR stream? AB knows that my answer would have always been L&D because I am a thorough L&D guy. But that never stopped me to learn recruitment, to learn compliance, to learn employee engagement, to learn payroll, and all the other facets of HR. So coming back to your question, AP,
No.
my answer to that is you should get entry in that particular function, that particular organization which you want to get into. Work as a recruiter, create your base, and there are always multiple opportunities because once you prove your mettle, you can always grow within the organization. So don't restrict
Another
yourself,
leading question to this, a very interesting statement which you gave is about, it
please.
brought boiled down. There are two questions, and I'll ask those questions, one for Varun and one for you. So,
Please.
boils down to passion. And you say HR is a passionate
Absolutely.
industry where people who are. So, the question which an audience has asked is HR leaders born or create made?
Is HR leader born or created? Okay. You want me to answer or you want Varun to answer?
No, Varun has a separate question. Audience has asked for him.
Okay.
So, this is for him.
So I always think nothing is born. So with little bit of psychology, what I feel is there are two skills which we all are equipped with. One is your natural skill, which by birth, which you get by default, gifted from your parents, from their genes. And second is your learned skills, something which you learn over the period of time. I'll take my example. I prefer giving my example because that's something which I can relate to it very easily. Maybe I was somebody who was not very good or very fluent when it came to language, when it came to communication, when it came to talking to people. I was not that confident. Let me be very honest with you on that. I come from a remote background. But then I learned, I developed myself. I started taking regular pauses whenever you required to speak. I worked on my diction, thanks to all my colleagues, all my managers, all my leader friends who were there who corrected me, and that's how I learned and I improved my communication. I improved my language. Still, there's a long, long way to go. So, to coming back to your question, you are born with certain skills, but definitely you need to develop those skills. You need to have learn skills in you so that tomorrow you emerge as a very, very passionate person. So coming back to this, I tell
I
always my students, all my people who ask me, I tell them if you're not passionate about people, don't get into HR.
so
Only if you're passionate about people, be in HR, else HR is not your cup of tea.
participant, these are golden words coming from Anand, and I totally resonate. There is no point of, in terms of, because people function, specifically this pandemic has taught us to, treat human life very, precisely, very preciously. So I think, this function is requires people who are very passionate. And Anand, I think these are golden words. Anand just now mentioned that, he had some challenges in diction. Those all of us, including me, have heard Anand hosting in HRIA as president. We'll never say all these things, because we were moved into tears the day. I still remember the evening when, he was elected the president, and there his family was there, and those moments are, there. So I think, audience, a very good takeaway that I think these are words which I think most of you can write as a status. If you are passionate in people, you are into the right function. Varun, a question to you. Anand has triggered PSU employment and the journey which you have shown for PSU. An obvious question an audience has asked: how can we apply for more PSU jobs, and what are the requirements to get into this? So over to you.
I am so happy. I'm so happy to get. I'm so happy to hear this.
Um, I am not sure whether I can answer this, but yes, I have few things which are common about most of the PSUs. They recruit people in the technical streams through GATE. like these days, this is a common thing which I am telling, so I don't know how to answer this question. But
The person is into HR function only. The answer, the specific, they are asking for HR field only.
okay, into
Great.
HR, they have to prepare for NET exam, NET NET, which is an entrance exam for PhD, and there is a particular course number. I am forgetting that it is, I think, 26 or 55. They have to prepare the course, and then the same exam these days is being taken by many of the PSUs. They can clear it and they can join PSU.
Wow.
Is it a leading question? Does it require a 2 years full time MBA, or it does a part time MBA works for the PSU employment?
No, full-time MBA would be required, but again, there are work is going on adopting these policies. But as Anand told, that we are like bound by some government guidelines and regulations. So again, work is going on as new rules and regulations come up by government. So we are trying to be at par with those rules and regulations, and will accordingly modify our structure recruitment pattern.
Thank you, Varun. Over to you, Anand. I think a lot of people are
Thank you,
emerging to
Abhi.
go into.
And trust me, Abhi, on a personal front, I'm very, very happy to read such questions because, as I said, it's just a different set of industry. There's no much difference between these two sectors today. Everything is at par. So, Varun, on a personal front, we would be interested to know. I'm sure audience would be very keen to know. Tell us something about your personal background. Who's in your family? Who's your role model? Something on that front.
Like you, Anand, I also come from a remote place. It is Muzaffarnagar in UP. So it is not known in a good sense. But trust me, whomsoever I have met, they have not कि अरे आप मुजफ्फरनगर से हो, वहाँ पे तो खड़ी बोली बोलते हैं. It is like a area which is very close to Haryana, and people speak the local khadi boli dialect. So
The diction, particularly the diction you're talking about.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
So I also worked a lot on my language skills. So as I told earlier, I come from a spiritual family. So my parents have always told me from the very beginning that sharing is caring, and how to make the society a better place, how we can contribute into it. That is a very important facet that I always think of. I strongly feel that it is a collective responsibility of each and every citizen to contribute to the society. Chanakya has also told that 5 to 10% of the income should be going towards
Yes.
the
Yes.
contribution in society, although the tax rate is 30% also. But still, apart from that, whatever we get in our hands, we should contribute. And on a personal front, there has been a constant support from my wife, who is also a very loving and caring wife. I don't know about you, but very few people actually admire. So I take a lot of inspiration from her also, the way she balances the household tasks. I got to know more from her during the lockdown. I learned some cooking skills also.
Wow.
So the way she balances our 6-year-old kid and between the household activities, it has been a great. And friends, I would say, have a lot of role in improving my life. When I started for my engineering degree, when I reached college, I realized that there is a hell lot of things. It was a totally different world, and many people, like when I saw my fellow batchmates, they were like, तूने ये novel नहीं पढ़ा? मैंने कहा, I don't know about reading novels. Is there a thing? So then I realized that I'm much back, and like I have to actually learn a lot. And then after third year, from fourth year, like I got a little bit casual, and I had fun also in college. So this was my journey.
Great. Great. Now you have put me into a soup by asking your wife is supportive or not, and she's sitting exactly the next room and hearing to this conversation. So let me officially commit this on the platform that yes, she has been a strong support, and I'm sure whatever little today what we have achieved is truly because of the support of our families, which definitely includes our parents, our siblings, our spouse, and nevertheless, all, the most important aspect, all our friends, well wishers who are with us during tough times. Thick and thin times is the right time, especially when you are not in the right. What do I say? In your tough times, you get a strong support from your friends and family members. So yes,
Like
by
we
grace, I have
always
also
say,
been blessed with a wonderful partner, a wonderful son. All my family members are equally supportive, and maybe that's the reason whatever little we could achieve, we have achieved so far. You were saying something, Varun.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, I was
So
saying, sorry, both audience and friends, these are smart, highly educated HR professionals. By the word of appreciation, they have secured a good meal, a good rapport, so I don't know. So that's how HR should be. And, I kudos to both of them and, securing such a
by
wonderful,
the way,
delicious.
Ashish, I'm all alone here in Noida.
ना तब तो और भी जरूरी है वरुण तब तो और भी जरूरी है तो और भी जरूरी है वेरी गुड
And
कार्ड्स
I'm
played by both of my friends and fellow colleagues over to you Anand.
and please remember, Varun, this YouTube recording is gonna be shared with everybody. So we have to be very, very careful what we are talking on this platform. Okay, jokes apart. So thank you to all our family members, all our well wishers, all our HR friends for being
and
a strong support in all our tough times. Yes, Varun.
don't we would not like to forget the role of teachers also. It is said in Hindi, mata pita
Absolutely,
and guru. So in my
absolutely.
life personally, I have been thankful to a lot of teachers. Like I would say, from the tuition days in my 11th and 12th, the teachers which used to pep me a lot, that Varun, you can do it, they used to instill confidence in me. So that has resulted. I know that my handwriting is poor. So there was, I still remember my teacher in first year of engineering degree, that you can actually do well. You don't think that there is anything that can hold you back. And I tell you that first semester I got 82% marks, and the second semester I get 88% marks. It is the highest
Wow.
ever in my lifetime.
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned, Varun, that's the foundation. So, I always take this example. We need to work really hard on our foundation. The strong your foundation is, the larger, the bigger your growth journey is. So, kudos and thanks to all our teachers, all our professors, all our managers, all our HODs for being there, supporting us, starting from our kindergarten stream to whatever online courses or current courses which we are doing. And obviously the thanks to our mother, because she's the one who's the first teacher, who she's somebody who foresees us even before we are born in this world. So she has that edge of 9 months over all these teachers. So everybody plays a very important role. And I will also want to take this opportunity to thank all my teachers from all my school, all my colleges, all the people who have helped us to shape up our careers. And today, whatever we are, it's all because of them. Moving ahead, Varun, I also wanted to understand who's your role model, Varun. Who do you aspire, to be, or something on that front, Varun? Whom you get
uh,
your inspiration from?
So I've, as I told earlier, like I've not tried to tie myself to a single personality. I
Mhm.
learned a lot from each and every person whom I met. I've already learned a lot from Ashish and you. So still,
That's so
I
sweet of you
would
to say
say
that.
that I would say that uh, there has been a considerable role of my father and my teachers. So what I am today, I am a product of my parents, my family, and my teachers, and of course my friends. So there has been an incremental improvement. I wrote this
Okay.
in my PhD thesis also, that you cannot improve what you cannot measure. So it is very important to measure, and then there is a cycle which we call in our PSU PDCA cycle: plan, do, check, act, plan, do, check, act. So
Absolutely.
I'm
Plan, do, check,
always
act.
in that cycle, and always try to improve myself. So role model, I am fond of Formula One racing also. So I say
Wow.
I take a lot of inspiration from Lewis Hamilton. He has been a continuous, if you see his concentration, and if you see the way he performed, and if you see there is a lot of teamwork involved in the Formula One sport. So I see him as a great resource person. And if you remember that particular scene in
Correct.
which he recently completed his 100th win, the way he was touching his car, it was so passionate, and it was so that the car, he knows everything inside, in and out of his car. So there are a lot of persons. I have learned a lot from MS Dhoni, how to keep yourself cool till the last moment. Even if things go wrong,
Yes.
you can always take charge of the situations. So before this session started, I was a little bit nervous as I've gone live for the very first time. But then I remembered MS Dhoni,
Oh,
and
does it look like? So compliments to you.
thank you. So what we practice, we can only preach that. I am a firm believer of that. What we are not practicing, we cannot preach. We are not entitled to preach that.
Right. Right. Great. Great. Thank you, Varun. Varun, one thing I also wanted to understand with you, which I believe, and I'm sure AB also believes, most of our industry friends believes in that. But I wanted your opinion as an emerging HR leader. How much and what is the importance of networking in the current scenario? Because we always say network as much as you can. So could you put some light on that as an emerging HR leader, especially coming from a PSU background, the kind of work which you have done? What do you think on this part?
So one thing which I feel, particularly in PSU, the people should do, they should network a lot and should know what is happening outside PSU and outside government structure as well. So we, in our roles, should not limit ourselves. We always have the freedom to suggest, even into the government policies. We also can suggest the DPE and DOPT employees that okay, the times are changing. We can draft few things, and like we can send them suggestions. So it is very important to network and to know what is happening, because sitting in a well, we cannot contribute. And actually it is happening, because when I see my organization, and other PSUs, I feel that we are already doing a lot of things. Otherwise, and like in few things, we are much way ahead. We were much way ahead. Like talking about my thesis is in productivity management, and it has a very important concept called quality circle.
Right.
So it was first introduced in by my organization in India. So I feel that there is a lot of scope, and as I told earlier, that a person is a sum total of five people around him or her. So it is very important to keep a good company in and around you, of people who can actually show you. So networking helps you a lot. They becomes your hands, eyes, ears across the industry, and you can actually learn a lot.
Absolutely. So, to just to add on, Varun, I'm a strong believer of this. While we have a formal way of learning, every adult learns by different methodologies. But your network is somebody who definitely, consciously, unconsciously, makes you learn different things, and it helps you to get the best out of your potential. So please do network well, and platforms like HR Sampark, platforms like HRIA, and there are so many other HR platforms and multiple platforms, social media. Today, everything is at your device, your palm top, your desktop, your mobile, gives you a complete world, quickly, and you will be able to get the best out of it. So please do network well. That is something which will take us a long, long way. So Varun, something which I also wanted to understand about, I just read and I thought, I was very curious to know about the Infosys Eco Club. I just read somewhere with your association with the organization. Could you please elaborate, if you're allowed to, what exactly this club is all about and what do they do, so that, certain best practices which we can take from there can be imparted to our circle. So something on that front, Varun.
So it was a very short stint with Eco Club, but during that stint, I tried to had a competition organized there, which was basically a painting and drawing competition for small kids to create awareness about the environment.
Okay.
And we also went and we did a few activities like tree plantation. So I was based in Mangalore, and Mangalore has a very good seaside, and
Mm-hmm.
the office was situated in an special economic zone, which is like 26 kilometers away from Mangalore. The uh, so there it is a remote location, so we went a nearby location also. We distributed books, we created awareness about the environment. So it has a lot of tourists also, so we created some kind of environment among the residents there, that you can some way educate the people who are coming there not to pollute the environment and the greenery over there.
Okay. Great. So this was a part of the Infosys Eco Club. These are the kind of activities which the organization did as a part of the CSR front, is what I understand.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So any other best practices with your current organization, with your experience? Because I also see you are very keen and you are actively into blood donation, Varun. So could you elaborate any best practices with your current organization, with your past organization, and personally, if you are doing something, I'm sure the audience would love to hear on that front.
So one good thing is like see, everything has a kunji. So I follow this kunji model, like the basic formula. So for the CSR also, there had been this initial framework that the government told that all companies have to spend these things. But then now they have improvised on that framework, and they have come out with 10 different areas in which each and every company has to spend. So,
Mhm.
but again, if you see whatever you do, you have to do it for five basic needs. It is my own formula. So, first one is financial need,
Right.
then the housing needs, financial needs like roti and kapda, then makan, housing
Bilkul.
needs, then health, education, and last but not least, the security. We called
Right.
it suraksha in Hindi. So, this formula works everywhere. You call it in
Yeah. Yeah. So
at the
this is the.
institution and at the industry level or the organization level. So whatever we have
Yes.
done in our organization, we have tried to cater to these 4 to 5 basic needs. And we are doing a lot of things like in the sector of education, in the sector of health, during these COVID times also, we are many of our plants are supplying oxygen. So
Wow.
we are trying to contribute in best possible way, and making sure that the money whatever we are spending has the best and long term utilization of it. So whatever we do, there is a saying by Gandhiji, uh, don't feed but teach him how to grow. So we try to
Absolutely.
implement that in each and every penny that we spend.
Right. And that is what Atmanirbharta is all about.
Correct.
Great. Thank you, Varun.
Anand, yeah, Anand,
Yes.
we have, we are reaching to the end of the session. So while there are a couple of questions which I will ask again. Audience has put it.
Sure.
Before I say,
Sure.
Varun, last 20 minutes, honestly, while Anand was interacting, I could not utter something because it was so mesmerizing, honestly. And I kudos to you, Varun. I never felt you told that nervousness. ऐसा लगा, if we don't see your name and your
Yeah.
face, ऐसा लगा कि बहुत बड़ा HR लीडर को स्टेज पे बोल रहा है और हम लोग सिर्फ सुने जा रहे हैं. It is so
Great.
precise, so perfect, so well articulated. and so things to learn. I think this series has given us gems like you, and two lines on you before I ask that question कि जो मैं इंस्पिरेशन लूंगा आपके इस वक्तव्य से, इस चलता रहूंगा पथ पर, चलने में माहिर बन जाऊंगा, या तो मंजिल मिल जाएगी, अच्छा मुसाफिर बन जाऊंगा, and that's how you put it forward. So there is two questions.
Yeah.
I will like to put it in a rapid fire and ask both Anand and you and your perspective on this. Before and we'll merge. In the paucity of time, we'll not take extend. So first question to both of you. You can Varun, you can lead the answer first. If not HR, then what would you would be doing?
I would have been a finance guy.
Anand.
I would have been either a singer or an actor.
And we will, audience, wait. We will have a special presentation by Anand, and we have been eagerly waiting, all of us. Next question, I will make it this section very last question with the rapid fire. Varun. Interview is very important part of our HR function. So when you interview people, what do you precisely see, 2 or 3 qualities? And then I'll come back to Anand on this.
I feel honesty. The person has a technical knowledge or domain knowledge or not, and the behavioral aspect of the person, because like I'm usually try to look from the HR angle. So the mental balance and the overall balance of a person from a behavioral aspect.
Great, guys. If you want to work in Varun's team, gather all these things, and that's how. And I'll twist this question a bit before I move to Anand. Anand, Varun mentioned the required qualities. As a seasoned, renowned HR professional, how does, you want to tell the young audience, how does the trick, not the entire piece of it, but a crust of it, how do seasoned HR professionals judge?
So for me, AB, I'm a strong believer, and I'm sure my team agrees to this. Many of them who know me, I believe in ASK: attitude, skill, knowledge. Knowledge is something which I'm sure we all have. That's assumed. If you're applying for this position, I'm assuming that you have the right knowledge, you have earned that, and you have implemented that, and you have developed your skill. What matters is the attitude. If I see a candidate, if I see a particular person who has a right attitude but lacks little bit of knowledge and skill, with that right attitude, we can definitely work upon and develop that skill and attitude. But with a negative attitude or with the wrong attitude, with the right skill and right knowledge, I'm sure you may reach till one level, but it will not take you further, and it will not take you beyond one particular point. So I am a very, very strong believer of this ask model, and I always tell people your attitude takes you as long as you want to. Hence, skills, knowledge can be imparted subject you have the right attitude. So for me, AB, the person with the right attitude is the most talented guy. I would invest my time, money, and in
Like one more thing I would like to say, I also follow this in my team for assigning the
Yes.
task to my team. There is this ability and willingness model.
Absolutely.
So if you are not willing, nobody
Yes.
can like extract work from you. So you have to be willing to move forward, and then ability comes afterwards.
Absolutely.
Audience also, a couple of, things while Anand was saying this, kind of personality, and, why I say Anand again. See, there is nobody, a tailor-made or a perfect, but as an HR professional, when we see, Dr. Varun, we see Anand, these are people who will lead the way. They are the torch bearers for the industry, and that is the reason why, we want to showcase them. And like with Anand, he couple of lines what he practices, and I'm saying not make up. कि अपनों में रहो अपने में नहीं. That's what he focuses always. So that's how it is there. Anand, over to you to have any more questions, and then I have a very interesting
Yes.
part, a surprise for all of you, so or for the audience, but over to you.
Great. So I wanted to ask a couple of questions, Varun, but in the paucity of time, I would want to hear from you one of your best memories of your engineering days. So your youth days, your college days are something which are very, very close to your heart. both in the positive way and both in the nocturnal way. So anything on that front which you want to share your experience, some of your good memories or something which you cherish your lifetime, your engineering memories?
That is a very tough question, but yes, there was a movement mm, when there was this movement going on in the college about the college fees, and each and everybody was protesting actually.
Mhm.
So I came across as a trustworthy person, and I garnered support from everybody. So each and every person like के वरुण को हम आगे करते हैं. एक तो पढ़ाई में अच्छा था तो that way is also, but then we keep Varun forward. But then the way that time I stood up, and it is always etched in my mind the way things were handled during that period. And of course there are a lot of memories, like in the first year also there is another this thing. We have this calculator, scientific calculator, so we go outside college to some other college for giving our exams. My calculator got lost from my bag, so that day I did not have to use my calculator. After exam, when I came back, I found that my calculator is not in my bag. I thought that I am such a person that nobody is going to steal it, and actually, किसी ने ले लिया होगा. Somebody might have borrowed it up, and he will give it back. So I was asking each and every person that यार calculator देखा क्या? So by evening, I lost all hopes. But then suddenly, one person said, "Yeah, I did not knew. I wanted to steal it because I wanted to have few monies. But actually, when I came across that it is your bag, and I thought of returning it to you." So that moment, I thought that this person has so much trust in me that he could have the courage to come back to me and to return my calculator, and he was so sure that I won't say anything to him. So there are
Wow.
few of these memories which I always keep with me. So I
Great.
have to find like that, being approachable, being trustworthy, so humble, and like always these things remind me to improve.
Wow.
Thank you.
So if that person is listening, kudos to him for accepting it and facing it with the head high, because typically people would prefer not to get into such kind of confrontation. So kudos to the person, and thank you, Varun, for sharing that. AB, how much time do we have?
We don't. We have exceeded our time, so you can do a closure question, and then
Okay,
I'll
so
do a
I
some.
yes. Great. So something again, I'll go back to the first question, Varun, which I asked you on your PhD. So people currently who are listening to this conversation, and of course, post the video recording is shared. Somebody like me, somebody like AB, who are in their mid careers and would want to pursue further and try to reach the peak of their careers. If we plan to start our PhD, ho- what are few tips or something which you wanna help us, guide us? Where do we start from, and how do we kick it off?
So, first and foremost, it is very important to have a clear objective in your mind, and when you try to focus on the things. So, it is a general formula. Again, whatever you want to do in your life, we have this SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat.
Right.
So SNW, we do
Hmm.
it for internal ourselves. We find strengths and weaknesses. O and T, opportunity and threat for the outside world. So using
Right.
the outside world, we get the focus areas. Actually, combining all these things, we get the focus areas. And I developed in my PhD a flow pace model, so which can be applied in an organizational setting also, in a personal setting also. FLOPACE. So it is
Okay. I repeat. FLOPACE.
yes,
Okay.
SWOT and flow
Flow
pace.
pace. So what
So
we are aware of, Varun, could you elaborate something on flow pace?
F stands for focus. So first gain focus, whatever you want
Okay.
to achieve in your life. Then apply
Mm-hmm.
your leadership skills. Like if you want to do your PhD, apply your leadership skills. How do you want to see yourself after doing PhD? Then
Okay.
O is in the context of an organization. Actually, it O stands for organization culture. But understand the nuances. Basically, on a personal level, understand the nuances that what it involves actually. So, for doing a PhD, how it entails, what actually is the journey, and how much time it will take, and all those details. Then P
Sure.
stands for plan. A stands for adaptability. Then C stands for control and reward. So it is very important that when you embark on a certain journey, you have to control yourself and you have to reward also yourself. So you have to celebrate those small milestones. And then E stands for entrepreneurial culture. So have that risk taking
Okay.
ability. If you join a certain institute, if they have taken a certain task of completing PhD in a particular manner, you take that risk. How I can do that thing differently? How I can break in these VUCA times, we are like questioning each and everything. So we have to have that questioning attitude, especially in PhD, because it teaches a lot of different how to have different mindsets, how to have analytical skills. So a lot of stats is also involved in that. So if you are not a maths loving guy, you have to get hold of it for few things because it is a very essential skill. So as we talk about an IT industry also, AI, ML and all those things. So all those things are important.
Right.
So SWOT and flow pace can actually lead you through in any particular goal, be it PhD or
Yeah.
anything. So it
It
helps you
can
in
be
building.
applied on personal level also.
Yes, and I also believe that a lot of self-help books they help in building a personal inventory of a person. So I would like to request all my audience to read few self-help books so that they can build their own personal inventory. Whatever they want to do in their life, they can achieve success if they have few formulas which are easy to remember during those tough times when you are facing low, and you can using those things you can actually bounce back and achieve a lot.
Great. So thank you, Dr. Varun Goel, for sharing those wonderful insights. So with this, we formally come to the closure of the round of questions which we had. But I'm sure there's a long list of things which I personally wanted to ask, and as a representative currently for HR Sampark, we would look for another opportunity maybe in future where we can share more insights. My humble request to everybody who are on this call, who are listening us live, and the one who will be hearing the recordings, this is the tough time. And one thing which I want to share with everybody is tough time doesn't, tough people last. So be tough to the current situation. Take all necessary precautions. The world around is at risk, but nevertheless, with our positive spirit, with the way we are working towards coming out of this pandemic, my humble request to everybody is take care of yourself, take care of your family members, and I repeat, tough situation doesn't, tough time doesn't, but tough people last forever. So be that tough guy, and I'm sure it's just a matter of time. Give time some time, and we will be out of this very, very soon. Thank you very much, Dr. Varun, and thank you, AB, for trusting in me and giving me this opportunity to showcase the conversation and bring these insights from Dr. Varun Goel. Over to you, AB. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anand. I think truly golden words, and these are so important learnings, participants, because as Dr. Varun has nicely storyline how he has enrobed everybody. You can learn from everybody. Every if you want to learn, that is. And Dr. Varun, honestly, आज नवरत्न मिल गए 9 सेशन के बाद, and
Yes.
with you, I am so happy with this, and specifically there are not many leaders, as I mentioned over the call when we were having, like Anand and many others who have come forward to do it, because leading from behind is not an easy concept. So congratulations and thank you so much, Anand, for being a part, and I'm so happy that we are part of same fraternity where we can do it collaboratively. This and Dr. Varun,
Yes.
exceptional,
Thank you.
mesmerizing. You are truly emerging. तो बोलना गलत होगा. You are the HR leader. Just we need to identify and acknowledge that. While we close this
Yes.
session, this session has been roller coaster for learning. तो जिसको सीखने का इच्छा होगा उसके लिए ये 1-1.5 घंटा काफी होगा सीखने के लिए. While we close the session, and the idea of this is just to build up a platform, and then how we take up a relationship forward. You have us as us to fall back for anything which you require, and we have you to fall back for anything. That's how the collaborative model we want to imbibe. While we close this session, I will request both of you to definitely give your closing thoughts. But the closing thoughts will be in your own language. I understand we have used Hindi and English, but we come from a native, and I truly do this for all my sessions specifically by कि हम लोग अगर किसी को पसंद करते हैं तो उसका लैंग्वेज पढ़ते हैं गूगल में जाके ट्रांसलेटर में. तो ये सेशन एक ऐसा है जहाँ पे आप जो बोलते हो वो डिजिटल मीडिया में रिकॉर्ड हो जाएगा, और जिसको अगर जानना होगा, आपने बताया कि आप ठेठ डिक्शन यूज करते हो, गुजराती बहुत अच्छा आनंद बोलता है, सो आई थिंक टू हियर a closing comments in your local language is that's what we look forward. And if we love our leader, we will go back and research to know it. We have other people who came and you spoke in Kannada, you spoke in Telugu, so let them do it. And Anand, definitely we cannot end the session without a song. So a song which in this tough times, as you tell, so which lifts our spirits, but after the message in your native languages. Over to you, Dr. Varun, and then we'll come back to Anand for the closing.
Over to you, Dr. Varun.
तो देख भाई, ऐसा है, सुन ले बात. जिंदगी में ना, जिंदगी निकल जानी है और पता नहीं पड़ना टाइम का कब क्या होगा. इसलिए अगर अपने बच्चों को एक अच्छी जिंदगी देनी है ना, तो जिंदगी में सीखना सीखो. अगर जिंदगी में कुछ कर लिया ना, कुछ समझ लिया, सीख लिया, दुनिया में इतना कुछ हो रहा, कोरोना पता नहीं क्या क्या फैल रहा, और हम कितना सीख रहे हैं उसमें. तो देख भाई, ऐसा है, जितना तूने सीख लिया उतना आगे बढ़ेगा. और वो डायलॉग याद रखियो, 3 इडियट्स वाला, तू कामयाबी के पीछे मत भाग, झक मारेगी कामयाबी तेरे पीछे भागने के लिए अगर तू सीखेगा तो. ठीक है, ध्यान रखियो ये बात.
That was fantastic. Though I got frightened at one point of time. मन भी आवा है हरियाणवी तो पर एक बार में तो समझ गो कहीं बोल रहा था थे. लेकिन over to you, Anand. An exceptional, I think, audience die for episode. I think thank you so much, Dr. Varun. That was delight to hear. So over to you, Anand.
That was good one, Varun. તો કેવી રીતે છે ભાઈઓ ને બહેનો, હું છે ને એક વસ્તુ કહેવા માંગુ છું તમને. મને એક સ્ટોરી યાદ આવે છે અત્યારે, એક નાનકડી કહાની યાદ આવે છે. આપણી જે એલિસ બેન છે ને, એલિસ ઇન વન્ડરલેન્ડ ની એલિસ બેન જંગલમાં ચાલતા 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 એક પોઈન્ટ સુધી પહોંચી ગઈ, એક જગ્યાએ પહોંચી ગઈ, અને એને ખબર ન પડી કે હવે આગળ મારે ક્યાં જવું છે. એના સામે 2 રસ્તા હતા, હું ડાબી બાજે જાઉં કે હું જમણી બાજે જાઉં. એને કાંઈ ખબર જ નહોતી પડતી. તો એને જોયું ઝાડ પર એક મોટી બિલાડી બેઠી છે, જાડી પાડી બિલાડી બેઠી હતી. તો એને બિલાડીને પૂછ્યું, બિલાડી બેન, હું કઈ બાજુ જાઉં, ડાબી બાજુ જાઉં કે જમણી બાજુ જાઉં? તો બિલાડી બેને કીધું, તને ક્યાં જવું છે? તો એલિસ બેન કહે છે, ખબર નહીં. તો બિલાડી કહે છે, તને ખબર જ નથી તને ક્યાં જવું છે, તો તું ડાબી બાજુ જા કે તું જમણી બાજુ જા, કાંઈ ફરક નથી પડવાનો. તો તમારા જીવનમાં બહુ જ મહત્વપૂર્ણ એક વસ્તુ છે કે તમને આજે નક્કી કરવું પડશે તમારે કઈ બાજુ જવું છે. ડાબી બાજુ જવું છે, જમણી બાજુ જવું છે, અને ઘણીવાર પાછો યુટર્ન મારીને આવી જવું એક હોશિયાર માણસની નિશાની છે. થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ.
બહુ સરસ આનંદ, બહુ સરસ, જલસો થઈ ગયો. And I think exceptional. We all loved it. I think at the point it was such interesting, and we'll take this opportunity. You have a inbuilt storyteller in you, Anand, and we will definitely work upon on this.
Sure.
Our song,
Sure.
Anand, over to you, because any session is not complete if you cannot sing.
So remembering all our bosses, and especially Dr. Deepak Deshpande, who's known for his singing abilities. So just उनकी याद में उनको याद करते हुए, I'm sure if he's listening to this, he will love this. That we want to dedicate this song to him because he is somebody whom we all look forward, especially the closing song from him. So in the current situation, this song is very, very apt. We all are part of Rotary, and Rotary does a lot of good work on the social platforms, and currently it is striving to help the society with the pandemic. And in polio, they have done a fantastic job. So this is something which is very close to my heart, and I believe in this song. किसी की मुस्कुराहटों पे हो निसार, किसी के वास्ते हो तेरे दिल में प्यार, किसी का दर्द ले सके तो ले उधार, जीना इसी का नाम है, किसी की मुस्कुराहटों पे हो निसार, किसी का दर्द ले सके तो ले उधार, किसी के वास्ते हो तेरे दिल में प्यार, जीना इसी का नाम है. So that's what currently my humble request to everybody is, share the sorrow as much you can, help each other in this tough time, and I'm sure there is a long, long, big ray of hope, a full light waiting after this darkness. Thank you very much, EB.
Thank you so much, Anand. Thank you so much, Dr. Varun. Participants, this session, we always come back. When we attend a lot of HR sessions, we have a particular, image in our mind. We have a particular framework. This session, though, anybody, it's part of Sampark, but all these, legends who are coming forward and the exceptional HR talent which is coming. This is, not a perfect. You might judge it and look at it's not. Is it perfect? Is it? So don't be judgmental. It is given from the heart. It is done from for a bigger, larger audience to connect with them. If Varun has reached here, I am sure there will be lakhs of HR professionals like Varun, and Varun will be a torchbearer for them. Thank you so much, Dr. Varun. And for doing this, taking courage, and sharing your journey. It's not easy, and we are truly overwhelmed, and we have we'll always remember this as part of very special thing. And Anand, we will keep doing things together. You have been impacting so many lives, and this is one of them where this session will be with us for a very long time, because anytime guys, I will take this session कि कभी भी कुछ भी low moment आएगा ना, ये session देख लेंगे और जब end करेंगे तो एक smile के साथ करेंगे. I wish all the participants that you are safe, fine, take care of your families. And all of us who are there, I take behalf on Sampark and Varun and Anand. We are here to you help. We are there on LinkedIn, and please connect back as if we can help in any other way. And we will be happy to do that. A last comment. Somebody has written in again a question. We could not recognize you from your LinkedIn picture, so I don't want to elaborate more upon this. So I think some lady has written, no offense. So so I will just reply back. Arun has said it is married, so keeping it very close knit. So thank you so much, Dr. Varun and Anand, for doing this, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, AB. Thank you, Varun. So looking forward to meet you soon. Thank you very much. Good luck, everybody.